2010, and then I joined the State Democratic Party, so I work for Chris Myers. So I'm very fascinated about the process of joining.
You work with Chris Myers?
Hmm?
On the steep, haven't you, right?
No, I work in Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento, okay.
And now I'm with the South Bay Labor Council.
Where you work? Ben Lou.
Sorry?
You work with Ben Lou?
Ben Thiel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The new labor head, after Cindy left. Wonderful, welcome to our club.
Excellent.
I'm excited to be here.
So you should have told us that, we would come and get you your Marlin.
I'm not a big public speaker, I don't like.
No problem, it's good to know who you are, because I think it's absolutely remarkable that please let Ben know. We appreciate the fact that he's allowed you to come back and participate in making of history. This is a remarkable opportunity, and I think Rishi has clearly demonstrated that the political empowerment of the community has to begin, and I know the passion with which this community will rise to the occasion. You will never find a greater friend of Democrats who care about the vision and the passion that this community espouses. We extend our hand of friendship to the Labour Council and ask the Labour Council one day to take Rishi upon his invitation to potentially come and speak to this club as well.
We would love to have you. Yep.
I'll get Ben to come. He's
Yeah.
much bigger than I am.
But a big round of applause to Dennis for being Okay, so let's keep going. So charter, we have all signed off. We have an opportunity. We'll have a meeting next month. I believe Nadeem is hosting us next month. So we'll have a monthly meeting and we'll spread it across. We'll have it in Fremont. We'll have it on all parts of the Bay Area. That way we get the Indian American community from all these different parts to engage with us, right? Because we are a Bay Area organization. So bylaws, so let's go through and see if you have any suggestions or changes with respect to the bylaws, I did notice a reference to a regional organization and a county organization. I think we need to change that. So when all those little changes we have to make eventually. But any specific major changes that you would like to propose with respect to the bylaws?
Now, so this is a club of the CDP, or are you getting chartered at the Santa Clara Central Committee?
No, it's the CDP. Yeah. So we are, not just with the county, we are outside of it. So it's not a county-based organization. So we'll have to figure out, how do we define the Bay Area? What are the different counties that encompass Bay Area? So we'll have to make that definition eventually. It's not necessary for a bylaws, but eventually we'll have to do that, right?
And it would fit within the bylaws to also promote other regions to, have similar initiatives.
Absolutely. Like Jim was talking about a caucus, and we would love to. I think Ash has been talking within the Democratic Party about creating an Indian American caucus. So eventually Ash and Deepa and all these guys, they have been engaged to see how that happens. But for us to have a club here for the Bay Area, it's a step in the right direction. Right?
Yeah, and I'm talking, like Yogi and I talked about that as well, just that even if there's resistance initially, I think that this could be a good way of creating that momentum. Because, that sometimes people don't like, there's oftentimes like the Sacramento, they like to have control over kind of like, the caucuses and how many there should be and all that. But if we show strength from the ground up and start here, then that can create that momentum so that they just can't say no.
Yeah, absolutely. There is an Asian Pacific Islander caucus, and Deepa is the executive board on that caucus.
Good. I think Arif is on that as well, right? Arif Aziz.
Yeah. So we have two esteemed members of the community already.
This year the convention will be in Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
It's great for the distance. We should certainly try to get as many of the members that want to come back and try to attend.
So April 12th through 14th. So many of us have already made reservations, like hotel reservations are kind of hard to get. So if you would like to just get involved, come down, volunteer, and there are lots of volunteer positions they have. So spend the weekend, get to know a few people, network, and that's how you get integrated into the party.
To that point, you don't have to be an official member to participate.
Right.
You can get a general, an observer pass, which is like $40
Yeah.
or something. So you can get into the floor, watch all the stuff. But all the outside events, like the caucuses and the clubs and the fun party stuff, they're all open to the public. So as many people should go up.
Actually, this year I think we're going to probably try to focus on getting a hospitality suite as well. So some of those discussions, Rishi will talk about that hospitality suite that we're thinking of getting as well for convention, inviting all of the electeds to attend, including some of the heads of the unions and some of the special interest groups.
Beautiful.
We have forged relationships with.
That's good.
Yeah.
And so on the one side, on the Bay Area, so there are 9 Bay Area, there are 9 counties that technically make up the Bay Area. So you can go with that formal description, or just choose the counties that have the heavier Indian population and call that Bay Area. But either way, I think that just having the Bay Area moniker will require some decision at some point to decide like exactly what geographic boundaries you want it to encompass.
That's good, yep. Okay, so bylaws, I'm thinking let's skip this, and next meeting that Nadeem will host will revisit the charter, and just focus on that, right? So let's keep going if that's okay. So should we sign it off, like, do we need to pass a motion and all that,
Sure.
or?
Yeah, make it official, I mean, just for the record, just saying.
Solemnize the date and say as of this day forward,
Yes.
the motion was made, seconded, it was ratified, and everybody signed it, that becomes your motion perpetually.
Yes. So I would like to propose a motion to pass the bylaws as created on this date, January 27, 2013.
I second that.
Okay. So it is approved?
You have to
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
all in
We have to
favor.
vote for it. We have to
All in
vote for it.
favor.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And opposed?
And
So we are in the process of approving the bylaws, so all in favor, say,
Aye.
and all opposed,
Anyone abstain?
Any abstentions?
any abstains?
No abstentions.
Okay, beautiful. So we have the
So
chart,
motion is passed.
so the charter is part of the bylaws, so it is currently the way it is, but we have opportunity to change it, and we'll do that, look at it next month. So the next step we have is the officers, so that basically the way we have defined in the bylaws, there are 5 officers: president, vice president, treasurer, recording secretary, and the corresponding secretary. And what we'll do is we'll go through the definitions of these, So should we go through the election process today of these officers? Okay, let's go through that. So the way we'll do this is nominate a person, and if there are more than 1 people, then we'll put it to vote. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
I nominate Rishi Kumar for the president position.
I second that, Rishi for president.
Okay.
All vote.
Aye.
Next year, not really.
Vice presidency.
I'm the guinea pig, like, put me out there.
I'll join you, Rishi, don't worry.
Thank you. So that's that. Vice President, nominations for Vice President.
Anjali Kausar.
Seconded.
Yeah.
Aye. See?
Okay, okay, anybody else, any other nominations for Vice President?
Rishi, how do we vote when this is the first time we're all meeting each other? I mean, I'm a little,
Yeah, so if
I'm
there are-
so glad to see people volunteering to come
So
forward
let's
to
do
be
the other
officers.
positions maybe at the next meeting where
Yeah,
there are
Rishi.
other people, or we have to do today.
Today, rest we'll do the next meeting.
Yes.
How about if people want to be nominated?
That's a good idea.
Today, so that way they can at least express, they'll accept the nomination. So if Anjali is nominated vice president, or any other are there any other nominations?
The only thing I think we have to deal with, since we're not, I have nothing with that, but if there are people today and some people couldn't make it,
Yeah.
and they want to say, I want to serve, I think today, let's get this formalized with the president of the bylaws, so we can act upon some of the next steps, and then let the names come in from the outside.
Well, we can, but yeah, I think you're right, there's no reason people are here to start today by putting their name in, we can always add names.
They're just putting the name in the hat, right?
Yeah, so just so we have a sense of who's interested now,
Yeah.
if someone didn't make it today, that, send us an email tomorrow, say, by the way, I wanna throw my name in there, and then at the next meeting, you can have people either submit a statement and give a 1 or 2, 2-minute speech as to why they want that position, and then, obviously, if you have multiple interests in any particular position.
Well, you also probably, whatever statement they give, you also probably want to send it out by email so
Yes,
that
that's
people who are
good.
not present can also vote.
Yes.
Because there'll be others who would want to be involved but not be able to show up.
But I don't think the voting should be done over email, voting should be done in person.
Well, but then they
Yeah,
can
at the
show
next
up for the
meeting.
voting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then they'll know that this is, I think that's what would be done for any organization. Like, for example, if you want to change the bylaws, you have to give a 1 month's notice saying that in a month we'll have this meeting, that's where we're going to change the bylaws.
Yeah.
If you want to be present for that, you show up. Same thing, here it is, these are the nominees, this is when the voting's going to happen.
Yep.
This is the little blurb on each of them.
Okay.
And you want to show up, you want to have your voice be heard, show up for the meeting.
Okay.
So
Maybe you could do like a little nominating committee right now if the people are present, so that way we have something to come back to, because,
Yes.
how would you know who you, if at the end of the day, if you still have nobody wanting to step up, you need to have some kind of solution out of today's meeting
Yes.
to be able to move the next step. I
Okay.
understand there could be other people who want to participate, but
Let's,
then.
let's do a nominating committee if that's okay, or?
Do you have to have a nominating committee? I mean, what if I want to, stand for something and nobody nominates me?
No,
Do I
that,
have a chance to do that?
oh yeah, you just
You
approach
just
the
tell-
committee
yeah,
and
you
tell
just
them.
say,
What's the nomination?
You say, I would like to stand for blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what's the committee?
I'm happy to do, because I'm not, I don't think,
So like, there is
I'm not
a-
interested in being an officer.
Me and Ash will do it, nominating committee.
Yeah, I think we'll do it too. So
Yeah.
if you'd like, how about the three of us with you as the chair of the nominating committee?
Perfect.
And that way, anyone that's interested can submit someone else's name. Please ask them if they're interested first. Or you can submit your own name. It doesn't keep anyone from the floor
Right.
at the next meeting putting their name in. So it's not like, if someone didn't hear about it until a week before, like, wait a minute, I didn't hear about that. They can show up and express why, and that's, so the nominating committee is just to kind of accept the nominations. They can make a recommendation to folks, but in no way mandates, a particular person for a position.
It just helps us get organized a little better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The foundation has to be well, and if the foundation's great, this organization will have a great start.
Yeah.
Year after year, we don't have to focus upon the procedural issues, but just getting everybody mobilized and building the next deep bench that will assume position of leadership in the future as well.
Let me ask you a question though. How many people know about it already?
Yeah.
Know about this
I
plan?
think we have about 100 people in our mailing list, so they know about this.
But what's your sort of wider target for good membership of this plan?
So this year in the hundreds, next year thousands, I mean, we would like to get to.
And this is across all the 9 counties or
Yeah.
whatever county?
You'd be surprised at how many members you can make out of this one. In the Indo-American Democratic Club, which is a
No, I understand
club club,
that.
400
The point
people.
is, the point that I was trying to make was that if you want to make it representative, then it has to first go out a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Before we make any decision about any of these.
Yep.
I think to
No,
that
good
extent,
point.
it makes sense to give it time, maybe the month's time,
Yeah.
to socialize this a little more.
That was
And
my
then-
question.
then,
So do we
yeah.
have a target that by the next meeting, each of us is sort of empowered to go find another 10 or 15 members?
Yeah, something
What
like
is-
that.
Please do.
Yeah.
I think we should set that target, so everybody here is working towards that. So
Yeah.
the room should look different next time.
Exactly, good point, Savita, because that's why we have Fremont, we have Santa Clara, we have San Jose. I mean, this is how we want to get everybody from the Bay Area involved with this organization, right? That's really the intention. Now, I would like to also,
And on that, again, sorry to interrupt, but on that point, I think you're absolutely right, and I think that you mentioning kind of like, you have San Jose, and then you have the kind of the west Santa Clara County, and the small cities, from Santa Clara to Cupertino, Saratoga, and then you have Fremont. I think those are three, the reality is we can't, we're not gonna go up to Richmond tomorrow and try to recruit people.
Yeah,
We're not
exactly.
gonna go up to San Francisco tomorrow and recruit people for this. We're gonna send notices to everybody so they can come.
Right.
But we have to start with some geographic
Sure.
area that makes sense. And the reality is that most Indians live in that triangle.
Yep.
And so we have a Fremont base, and we have, Yogi can help us there. We have a number of you here west, me and a few others in San Jose. So I think that at least gives us a really good start when we create this, this kind of this regional start, but it's not too big. We don't want to bite off too much.
Yeah.
Since we already have a presence in these 3 areas in different ways with elected officials and people that are politically active, then we'll just build on that. And then obviously the idea is to grow into places where we don't have as much of a presence like San Francisco and so on. But I think we have to start with a strong foundation where we already are. And so that's why I think that this is a great start already with the people that we have in this room and the numbers. And if everyone focuses on trying to bring 10 people or more to the next meeting, I think that you will fill a very, very large room next time.
And I think also to add to that point, what will be critical, I think, is to get a core group of people, 10 people who are solidly grounded in activities, because if you suddenly grow to 100, but then you don't have a core group that's
Oh, yeah.
willing to manage it, it could be chaos.
good point.
So I think we need to set that foundation first and then grow up from there.
Absolutely, very good point. I would also like to propose one more person to the nominating team, and that's Mahesh Nihalni. He's not here today. And anybody would like to second that?
Second.
Okay, so we have, so let's skip through these next part. And we'll make decisions on these next meeting. And then we also have 10 board members. So not only we have 4 positions, but also 10 board members. Now the suggestion was,
So, Rishi and I were talking about this morning. One of my suggestion is, you have 5 elected officers and then 10 board members. I thought 10 is a big number for such a small beginning. Perhaps we can go, because if you look at the board members, most of boards have 7 to 9 members, perhaps 5, 7, and 9. And I thought maybe a range of people anywhere from 7 to 9 is probably, in the beginning, is better than having 10 plus 5 plus 15 for a group of 50 people, I think. So as we grow in the next 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, as the number grows, we can always increase the number of board members. For a start, I thought 7 or 9 is a good number, rather than 10 plus 5, 15.
The only comment I have to that is I think that, especially when you're growing, you do want a little kind of a broad base, and we want to make sure that we're representing the area well geographically. So we don't, if you only have 10 or 11 or 7 or 8 or 9 board members, are you really, because you want someone in Cupertino, you want someone in Saratoga, you want a couple people in San Jose, a couple people in Fremont. We want to make sure that we're representing the region very well. And so whatever the number is, and I'm not disagreeing with you, because I think you're right, that we have to be cautious about how large of a board we have to get unwieldy. We want to make sure that we have enough that we're covering geographically, and as well as the type of people we're bringing in. Make sure we have men and women there, and make sure that that we have enough spaces on the board so that we have a good cross section of our community. So that's the only response I have to that. And so.
Maybe you can just say up to 10, make it up to 10, that way you give yourself a little flexibility of, maybe starting off with 6 or 7, and then you still have room as people join to be able to get the diversity.
You still need to say a minimum number, though. You have to say a minimum number, even if you say up to 10. You would have to say a minimum of 7 and up to 10 board members. Because you can't just leave up to 10, you can't have 2.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take the suggestion from Carla, work out and see how many we need, and then come back and say, yeah, these many we need to represent the area.
So the bylaws basically say, it's very explicit, it says 10 board members, it's very explicit. It's not up to 10, it is 10 board members. So are we okay? Because the thing is, as we grow, we need to involve leaders from our community. And if we grow too fast, then we are sort of scampering, trying to fill these spots. So what's our position on this? So should we keep it to 10? Yeah, go ahead, Cindy.
So just from what these folks are saying and from previous experiences at different places, the larger the board, the more unwieldy things become, especially if it's a smaller group. But keeping that in mind, you also want to make sure everybody's represented. Right now, you're not that big. Right now, you're not necessarily representing all the different regions. So maybe 7 is a good enough number to represent the regions, and then have something in the future where if you have more regions to represent, then those can be brought in later, add 3 more board members.
Yes.
Again, it would be similar kind of meeting and motions passed to make sure that those are represented. But I think it's a good idea to start, because right now, if you need 10 board members, you're probably going to have like 3 from Cupertino and 3 from San Jose, and it's not really representing the different regions.
Very good point. So here is a thought, perhaps, for the first 2 years, we curtail it to a total of 7 or 9.
Or
7 or 9.
7 plus
When you
5
say
is
total,
12.
you mean?
5
7 plus 5.
4.
Yeah.
4 board members, 5 plus 4. We already have 5 positions, plus 4, make it 9 for the first 2 years, and then after that, we ramp up to 14.
Ah, okay.
15, sorry, 15.
So the,
I think you should have more board members than you have.
More board
Yeah,
members.
so the officers are part of the board?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe 5
So
plus
then-
7,
5 plus 7.
yeah.
The rationale there basically is you want
Five
to.
plus
You want
seven
odd
sounds
numbers?
good.
7 versus 10, so essentially we are
Oh,
talking
your
about
10 was
10 board
including the
members. So
5.
should it be 10?
10
It should-
including the 5.
No, that's 10 is.
No, 10.
No.
5.
Yeah, 10 was
Already we have
including the
president.
5.
If we can have total of 11, so you have
Yeah.
5 plus 6.
6. Okay. Hi, Vatsala.
Hi, how are you?
We have the charter somewhere. Please give it to.
I think 6 is probably okay. I think we can try to
5
cover
plus
the
6.
broad,
Yeah.
5 plus 6.
So-
Who do you want to say something?
I'm just, initially, when you first start the organization, eventually the goal should be to make this a large board organization. I think the intent is good. I think initially the board should be a small group that really focus on the administrative tasks.
Yeah.
The representation needs to come from the subcommittees that you'll create, and in those subcommittees, insert, as Smita said, people that you know are gonna carry on the passion And once you get to a point, there's teething problems, can be large enough, and I'll tell you, a group of 11, somebody's gone to my board and my company a lot, it's always unwieldy in a startup phase, so, keep it small and nimble initially.
Yeah.
Expand in the future as time progresses.
Yeah.
But get the large sense of engagement through your subcommittees and make those subcommittees matter. Membership, outreach, legislative affairs, internships, and youth. Get a broad stroke of people to build the gravitas that you need. Then eventually get to a point where becoming a board member is a coveted slot, not just a place filler, just because we're trying to fill it with people.
Good point. Because also when we have these committees, it's an opportunity for people to step in, do some good work, and then become board members, right? So I would like to propose, essentially 3 board members for the next 2 years. Essentially 5 plus 3, 4, 5 plus 4, so that it's odd number, so that the voting becomes a lot easier. 5 plus 4. Any other thoughts on that? If we have 5 plus 4 additional, instead of 10 board members, we'll have 4
I think if
board
you
members.
said that you have 7, 8, 9, 10 board members, but you set up a quorum for the board that's smaller than, so then you
Yeah,
actually
actually,
have an
that's-
operational board
that's
that's
smart.
Right, the board.
They have an
That's
operational
exactly
board
right.
that will
Yeah, the
participate.
board has to be.
I don't know how long the
whether
board
the-
lasts, if it lasts, I don't know if you have elections every year or every 6
Then
months
they
or
get to
whatever.
do.
They have an opportunity to sort of-
Office there. Typically, that's where
So we have a quorum definition in the bylaws. So it shall be the lesser of 10%, members are 25%.
That's the membership, that's the membership.
No, for the board, it would be a different quorum, usually it's
Yeah.
2/3.
Robert's Rule of Orders.
No, the
Yeah.
voting members are the officers plus the board.
Yes.
Or the board is, the officers are part of the board, so.
No, but this quorum is for the group
This is
itself
the
For
or?
the
board.
total group, for the overall group.
That's for membership, for a membership meeting to.
Membership.
But for the board, I think the Robert's Rule of Order, that
It's
would be
2/3.
2/3. If it's a
2/3.
financial
Yeah.
issue, it requires more, other than that, 60%, it's approved. Separate vote requirement for your board meetings.
It's not, I think it's not defined in our bylaws.
I think, look, if you have 5 board members, if you have 5 executive officers and 6 board members and a quorum, 7,
Yeah.
That's
then I think that's a good enough work. Because, we're all busy, you're not gonna, you're gonna have
Exactly.
many meetings where everyone
That
can't
is
make it,
true.
but you could, I think